Good morning, dear hearts. I wanted to share with you, I've been told to keep it brief, so let me see what I can do. I wanted to share with you a little bit about the latest offering that's flowing through here, and that is 3 4-week online courses. They will run simultaneously, and there will be depending on how many of you might be interested, I'll keep the groups to 4 per group, so that there's the intimacy and a lot of one-on-one time with me, and we can look into specific issues around the things that come up in these courses. And so until next spring, this will probably be it, but I wanted to get them started as soon as possible because of my travel. I'll be gone a lot in December and January and into March, so I wanted to get this out to you. Like everything else, it flows in, inspiration, and then whatever it is to put it together just comes. Like oftentimes I just get a flash of an outline, and I don't pre-plan with a lot of words. In fact, the only thing, I just have a sense before each session. I have a sense of where it's going, and then life always shows up and flows out in a perfect way to bring benefit to everybody who's participating. So the first one is not the first one because they're all 3 going to be running at once. So one of the topics and these topics came up because they come up all the time in the sessions that I do with people, on one-on-one sessions, and it seems like these are the things that are the most common oftentimes in our day-to-day experience that cause discomfort and suffering and hard feelings, etc. So I think when you get free in these areas of your life, you'll be amazed in how the experiencing is so much different, and I might share some personal examples when we'll see. So one of the titles is Trigger Free and Drama Less. So less drama. And what do I mean by trigger? It's those things that bug us. Like if, when somebody calls and it's like, ugh, and you just feel that contraction, that yucky feeling in your stomach. So that's what I call triggers. Things that trigger us, that bring that contraction, that bring those feelings of lower our vibration, make us feel yucky. And so as we work through these, we can get down to the root of where the trigger came from. And it never, surprisingly, never has to do with the other person. Because you'll notice throughout the course of your life, there's certain key elements that come up in your conditioning that cause those triggers. And so when you get to the root of it, and it's never about the particulars, like who's right and who's wrong, and if this person would just quit doing that, then I'd be fine. It's never about that. So we look way down deep into the root. It requires a lot of self-honesty. In fact, it requires total self-honesty. Because if we want to be free, the prerequisite is you really have to want to be free. You've heard me talk about the hair on fire, where you're just done. Oftentimes people say, I've had it, I can't take it anymore, I'm sick and tired of this, and so then the drama just keeps going on and on and on because they're not really, deep down, they're not being honest with themselves and facing the question, do I really want to be over this? Because there's a lot of the human experience that just enjoys drama, even though it's pain and agonizing and everything else. We just oftentimes like drama. Who doesn't like a good movie where you got... it's kind of the element of the human condition is that we like resolution and tension and resolution. But this doesn't have to be that way. We can still have fun, dramatic occurrences without it causing such yucky feelings and stuff and hard feelings with others. The other one is similar because it'll involve some of the trigger stuff as well. But this is more of a focus on specific types of relationships. So it's called Relationships Aren't for Sissies. And at first I was calling it relationship. But if you weren't raised by World War II parents, you might not know why the SCHM on front of words is. Anyway, I won't go into that right now. So relationships aren't for sissies. So we've got the holidays coming up. We've got Thanksgiving and Christmas. If you're someone that adheres to those holidays, you live in the U.S., and etc., or other religious holidays coming up in December and January. So typically that's a huge one. How many of us have not had our share of dreadful Thanksgiving get-togethers? We fly across the country to be with our family, and it just ends up everybody's triggering everybody else, and everybody they're all like pouting and in their corners and drinking more alcohol than normal, stuff like that. So the 4 kinds of relationships, and this will be, as we organize these groups, there may be other things that come up that seem like more triggers, and we can customize these as we go, because it's always what's here now, what's bringing most benefits. So nothing is rigid, like you're taking a college course and here's your curriculum. But I find the most common relationship issues that we struggle with would be, first and foremost, perhaps, doesn't involve me because I don't have a romantic relationship yet. No. And so there's intimate, or when I say intimate, I'm talking about 2 people who are committed in some sort of an agreement where they're sharing some of the most intimate parts of themselves, emotionally and physically. And so those are huge in most people's lives, as well as family. So family can extend to cousins and second cousins and moms and dads and kids, and then relationships with friends, relationships with co-workers, bosses, managers, the man, or the woman. And then the other one is social situations, like maybe you're going to a party, you've been invited to a gathering of people, and things come up, maybe somebody you just met and they really bug you, and everybody else just can't figure out why you can't get over it, why can't you get along, and that kind of thing. So the relationship one it's something that is so up for people, as are the triggers. And then the other one is called Get Over Yourself. So those of us in the sort of familiar with the spiritual jargon, we make a distinction between capital S self, which is a synonym for God, the universe, the all that is, the infinite creator, and which ultimately we see to be us in a focal reference point that sometimes we refer to as the small self with the little s. So this is talking about getting over your small self, your separate self, your the one that comes in condition to initially to feel completely disconnected from where you came from, who you are, on the infinite scale. Who am I? And that's the existential angst that all beings stream into in this realm. And so it's getting over that sense once we awaken, and that begins to expand our awareness and embodiment of that awakening. We begin to see more and more in our experiences that some of the time throughout our day we're aware that we are God and embodied, and other times it's like we shrink down into, I'm just little old me and the world's against me and stuff like that. So when I talk about getting over yourself, it's like the path to freedom, to really be free, is to be in the God state, if you will. To be aware, in full awareness, that we're being animated by something larger than ourself, which is our capital S self, sort of driving through and running, exploring through us in these earth suits, so to speak. So get over yourself. When we get over the sense of separation, the sense of little old me, it opens us up more and more to the natural flow of life, which is love flowing out towards others unconditionally. So this is like a foundational piece for everybody, and those of you who've been at this so-called spiritual journey for any length of time get what I'm saying. And it's one thing to grok it, to understand it. It's another thing to assimilate and actually live it. And so that's what I'm going to help you do in this course. There's a lot more details on the website. And so I'll probably do an image. Well, you can go to the website, and when I do the Facebook announcement, I'll also send out a newsletter to those of you who are on the newsletter list. And if you're not, please subscribe, because I can't just send it out there with people assuming that you'd want to be in because you follow my teachings and stuff, and you comment and dig me and stuff. But to sign up for the newsletter, you just need to do that if you want to, if you're feeling it. And there's also, once we get the newsletter list, well, it's already got quite a few people in it, so I'm going to start sending out like special announcements and stuff to the newsletter group once in a while, maybe with special offers and stuff. And what's kind of bubbling up right now is a community. I mean, there's a sense of a community that wants to build around Annie's Hart, and the team, and there's many ways to be a part of the team, etc. So you'll be seeing more announcements on that. And so the website is www.heartofannie, and this is spelled Heart, heartofannie.com. And there's a link on the top row of links. And when you click on courses, there's an 8-week course which is underway this week. There's still, could probably still join if you're interested in the 8-week, but the 4-week is what I will launch this week. I'll start the sessions this week if there's enough interest, and I think there will be, but otherwise it'll start next week. And then they will run for 4 consecutive weeks, which would be good because then I can have it wrapped up before I head to on some of the travel stuff. So, and then again, I said not until spring, probably, or late winter, February, maybe February. So, be good to get in, and especially for the holidays. There's so much of this stuff that is so relevant to the things that we experience during the holidays, and statistics are it's some of the worst time for people that are suffering with emotional situations, and well, we all suffer if we're not free of triggers and all these other topics that I mentioned. So this would be a great thing to get ready for the holidays. And so, yeah, thank you for listening, and I'm excited to gather with whomever it resonates with, and it's priced in a way that's the same as my one-on-one sessions, which is that there's a increased benefit here too with the group activity, because somebody asks a question, we always benefit, because oftentimes it's the same thing we would ask, and maybe we're reluctant to ask or something like that. But it's going to be a very comfortable environment. Those of you who have spent any time with me or listened know that it's just peaceful and easy and relaxed, and love always shows up, and I'm excited to watch the transformation in all of you. So that's it for now. This didn't end up being very short, but it's what came out. This is what love spoke. So we will talk to y'all soon. Looking forward to gathering with some of you. And thanks for following me on Facebook. I also have the Annie Hart Spiritual Teacher page. It's just kind of getting ramped up, but I've always posted pretty much nothing but teaching on my regular personal page, and I don't fill it up with any other outside stuff. It's all my teachings, and even when I share personal stuff about my transition into female, there's always a teaching behind it. There's always an intention of love that wants to bring benefit. So, okay, that's all. Adios. Love you.